Hello friends, this is Dr. Shashi Agarwal. I welcome you all. Today our subject is Principle of Economics, or we could say it is Microeconomics. As earlier we were doing the topic Utility Analysis under Cardinal Utility Analysis. I have explained the law of diminishing marginal utility. Today we are going to do a very important and significant topic, that is the law of equimarginal utility. Under the law of equimarginal utility, we are going to understand what is the meaning of equimarginal utility, what are its assumptions, how we are going to explain this law and its criticism, and what is the importance, significance or application of its law. Its written note, they are already uploaded at my blog. Even the link will be also shared in the description box of this video. Even this topic is also available in Hindi plus English notes plus Hindi plus Hindi notes at my second channel, that is the Shashi Agarwal Economics and Law Classes. The question could be asked in this way: discuss the law of equimarginal utility or explain the law of equimarginal utility. First of all, we are going to write the general meaning of equimarginal utility. Then we are going to write the two definitions, one by the Marshall and the second by the Samuelson. Assumptions. Then we are going to explain with the help of table. Then we are going to draw the graph. And then we are going to criticize this law. Significance. We are going to attempt significance when it is specifically mentioned in the question. First, it is given by a French engineer H.H. Gaussen. It is also known as the Gaussen's second law. The law states, in order to get the maximum satisfaction, this maximum satisfaction is very important. We have to write the consumer wants to get the maximum satisfaction. His income is limited, but he is spending those income on different commodities in such a way, the last rupee which we spent on A commodity, the last rupee which we spent on the B commodity, the marginal utility of A commodity which is equal to marginal utility of B commodity, then he gets the maximum satisfaction. Again, I have simplified. The objective is to get the maximum satisfaction. He is having the limited income, he is spending on so many things. So he is spending in such a way, the last rupee is spent on A, the last rupee was spent on B, the last rupee he spent on C commodity, the last rupee he spent on the D commodity. Marginal utility of the last rupee, whether it is spent on A, whether it is spent on B, whether it is spent on C, they are equal. So consumer is rational. The objective is to get the maximum satisfaction. Left which refer to the general principle for the maximum satisfaction. Professor Hebden called it the law of rational consumer. The rational consumer, the objective is to get the maximum satisfaction. Lord Robbins called it law of economics. Dr. Marshall, if a person has a thing which he can put to several uses, like if I have kerosene oil, I could use in stove, I could use in laundry. Like we have milk at home, we could be using milk for shakes, we could be using milk for as we take the milk as it is. We could be using the milk in making some sweets. We could be using the milk in making teas. So if a person has a thing which he could put to several uses, he will distribute it among these uses in such a way that he has the same marginal utility in all. Marginal utility of A use is equal to marginal utility of B use, marginal utility of C use. Lipsey has stated the law in terms of the money which has several uses. With the help of money we could do so many things. And the objective is to get the maximizing utility. So he will allocate his expenditure between different commodities in such a way that the utility of the last rupee spent on each is equal. The modern statement, modern economists also call it law of proportionality, because According to them, a person gets the maximum satisfaction when the weighted utility are equal. It means the ratio between the marginal utility of good A and the ratio of the price of A, which is equal to marginal utility of good B divided by price of B, and so on. If the price is equal, then we could say marginal utility of good A is equal to marginal utility of B. Like suppose we are purchasing apple and bananas. The price of per apple is 50 paisa. He buys 10 units of the apple, and the last unit which he buys, he gives him 6 units. So marginal utility of the marginal utility of 10th apple is 6, which is divided by the price. So here 6 into 100 divided by 50, 6 divided by 50 paisa. So it comes down 12. Price of banana is 0.25 paisa. He buys 12 banana, and the last 12th banana gives him 3 utility. So 3 divided by 0.25. So consumer is getting maximum satisfaction. The last rupee which is spent on apple, the last rupee which is spent on the banana gives him the equal utility. This law is based on certain assumptions. Cardinal measurement of the utility is possible. It means we could measure the utility in numbers. If I have taken the T, I could say I have derived this much utility from the T. Marginal utility of money, we assume it is constant. It is not, it is stable. Consumer is always rational. He wants to get maximum satisfaction. When he goes to the market, he always compares the marginal utility. And there is no change in income, habits, taste, fashion and price of the goods. Commodities, they could be taken in smaller units. Consumption takes place in defined period. And the marginality of A commodity does not influence the marginality of B commodity. The utility of goods are constant. Now we are going to explain with the help of table and with the help of graph. So here the consumer is having the limited income of ₹5, which he wants to spend on mangoes and apples. He is a rational consumer. So he will always compare the marginal utility of mango with the apple. So the apples gives him the more marginal utility. So he is going to spend ₹1 on the apple, and the second rupee on mango, and the third rupee on apple, and the fourth rupee on mango, and the fifth rupee on apple. In this way he is going to spend 3 rupees on the apples and 2 rupees on the mangoes. So 12 plus 10 plus 8 plus 10 plus 8 is equal to 48. In this way he is driving the total utility 48. That gives him the maximum satisfaction. Because here the last rupee which he spent on apple gives him the marginal utility of 8. The last rupee which he spent on the mango gives him the marginal utility of 8. So if he spend in different way, like 3 rupees on mango and 2 rupees on apple, then his total utility will be 46. Here he is sacrificing 8 utility and getting 6, which is the gain is less and the loss is more. And here we could explain it by graphically. Just look at how the graph is to be made. So this is, here we take the units of money 0, 1, they should be equal distance 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here it is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 10. On y-axis we take the marginal utility of mango and the apples. And first we have 12. And the second we have 10, and the third we have 8. Labeling is very much necessary in the paper of economics. So this is the marginal utility of apples. Here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 1 is equal to 10 and the second is 8. And here we are going to draw marginal utility of mango. So here the last rupee which we spend on the mango, here the last rupee which we spend on the mango and the last rupee which we spend on the apple gives him the same marginal utility, and the consumer is in the consumer is getting the maximum satisfaction. If the question is asked, explain the law of equimarginal utility, then we have to draw this extra graph also, because here we will explain, like here, because here he is gaining this much and this is the loss which is more than the gain. So if he wants to get the maximum satisfaction, because here, so this is the marginal utility of apples and this is the marginal utility of mangoes, because here 12, 10 and 8, and here this much is the loss. Here 10, 8 and 6. So gain is less than the loss. So consumer will not be getting the maximum satisfaction. He will be getting the maximum satisfaction when he is spending 3 rupees on the apples and 2 rupees on the mangoes. This law has been criticized that is based on unrealistic assumption. Consumer is not always rational. We go to the market, we never compare. Sometimes, like the parents, they have given you the money to purchase the books, but still you waste on some impulsive things. So consumer is not always rational. He is not always comparing. He is not a computer. And sometimes the combination of which gives us the maximum satisfaction, maybe those goods, they are not available. So fashion, custom and habits, they do also influence. They are not constant, and the goods could not be taken indivisible, because like we want to have, we could not take TV, fridge in smaller parts. So some goods, they are indivisible. Even this law is not applicable to the complementary goods which are used together. Like here, some goods which we purchase, like we are purchasing the refrigerator and the bread is consumed on the same day, but refrigerator gives us the benefit for many years. So utility is not measurable. We could not say by having 1 cup of ice cream, I am deriving this much utility. Marginal utility of money does not remain constant, because as the stock of money goes on decreasing, the marginal utility of money becomes more. So sometimes the consumer is not aware of, and this law is not also applicable to the complementary goods. Significance, we have to write the significance when specifically it is asked in the question. This law has application in the consumption, production, exchange, distribution, public finance and distribution of assets. Like in the consumption, the consumer has the objective is to get the maximum satisfaction. He is a rational consumer. He will be spending his limited income in different commodities in such a way that the last rupee which he spent on A unit, the last rupee which he spent on B unit gives him the equal marginal utility. Here again the producer, he also wants to get the maximum profits. So he is going to use the factors of production in such a way that the marginal productivity of each factor becomes equal. Exchange. Definitely we exchange. Definitely we replace goods which gives us the less utility with the goods gives us the more utility. So this exchange process will continue up to the point where the marginal utility of all units becomes equal. Distribution of national income among factors, that should be according to the marginal productivity. Then we say there is a optimum distribution. The finance minister wants to impose the tax, so he should impose the tax in such a way that the marginal sacrifice is same and there should be least burden on the economy. A country will enjoy maximum social advantages when the marginal social sacrifice is equal to marginal social benefit. The income, we know income is some part is saved and some part is consumed. So income should be distributed in saving and consumption in such a way that the last unit of the money on consumption, and the last rupee which we save, that gives the equal marginal utility. And there should be optimum distribution of commodities. When a commodity is distributed among different persons or different uses in such a way that the marginal utility derived by each person becomes the equal. Like we have limited income and we have saving, we could have in the form of bank deposits, FDRs, gold, shares, real estate. The investment should be made in such a manner that the last unit of the money invested in each form should give us the equal marginal utility. So this law has application in the consumption, in the production, distribution, public finance, even when we are investing between the saving and consumption, and the optimum distribution and the distribution of our saving in different assets.